Today is my 8th anniversary. My father-in-law is gonna watch my kids while we go on a date. This is my 8-year anniversary makeup look. If you want to see how I came up with this look and also our love story and how we met, I'm gonna be telling the story as I do my makeup. So stay tuned and you'll see how I came up with this look. To start out, we're going to I have this Instant Age Rewind from Maybelline. I haven't really used any other facial primers. This one does the trick for now. I mean, I'm trying to be to save money. So I like to use, if it works pretty good, it works a lot better than just using straight up foundation. But if you're stretched kind of for money and you need to save still, I would suggest using any sort of lotion that has SPF in it. So far for drugstore brand foundation, this is not full coverage, but it's pretty good. You can layer it, but I like to use True Match L'Oreal. I use 2 different colors and I mix it according to if I self-tan that day or whatever. And this is Light Ivory. Where is the name of this one? I don't know what number this is. It's this one. So anyway, the story about how my sweet husband and I met. You know how sometimes you go through your life and you're when you're little and you're thinking, I wonder if I've actually seen my husband, and you start thinking about if it's possible. You're like, I wonder if I've really met them and things like that. Well, I never really knew him, but I had we had crossed paths. We just never knew each other. We went to some sort of church group, and I forgot my beauty blender. Oh, here it is. And it's moistened and ready. I love this thing. So my husband and I both had gone to a church camp for whenever we were 14, 15, and we went to 2 the same locations, 2 different summers. So I could not. We figured that out later, and we couldn't believe it. We were just like, what? And I was even in a talent show, and he never noticed. But that is besides the point. And then after I finished college, I went to school for being a graphic designer. I moved up north away from all my cousins because I didn't really want to marry a cousin. No offense to those that do, but I didn't want to. So, church. Yes, my husband and I met at church. Before I keep going, where am I at? Ooh, I have this thing. This was also got in a Boxycharm. It's the Lighting Crew. This will last me forever. Just to put a little highlights on certain areas. So anyway, a mutual friend of ours said, hey, I have an awesome friend, a guy that I want you to meet. She said, you were the first person he's ever really shown interest in. And she mentioned this guy. I'm like, well, I knew she was cool and we kind of had the same type of friends. So I thought, well, we'll see. She told me his name. She's like, his name's Chad and he's really cool. And I was like, okay. So I ended up going, this is Age Rewind Eraser. This is the best stuff. You can get it in different colors. I had a more yellowy color, but this one is fair. So this is really good. It's good to highlight the face. So anyway, I ended up, looking for a Chad, just kind of keeping my eye out at church. And I saw this guy and I'm like, okay, I guess he's cool. I don't know. And he and his friend had invited me over, and I was like, all right. I don't know. I don't know if he's really the right guy I'm supposed to be hanging out with. And turns out it was the wrong Chad. Thank goodness, because I was trying so hard to think he was cool, but this wasn't my type at all. The guy that I was thinking, I was looking at the wrong Chad. And the real Chad messaged me. He's like, hey, And going back, when I was deciding, rewind a little bit. When I was going back to, when I was checking out to see where I wanted to live, I had actually met Chad. But I remember thinking he was so confident. And I wasn't in the mindset to think, oh, he's cute, because I was kind of in a relationship, so I just was meeting friends. Okay, so after getting mugged and I moved forward, met the wrong Chad, and then got an email from the right Chad. He wanted to meet. like in between classes or something. And so I was like, all right, I'll be happy to do that, sure. And I was a little nervous. I'm like, okay, so this is the Chad. So in between classes, my roommate at the time, we were like starving. And so we were like gonna hurry back to our apartment, eat some pizza, and then head back to go to the other class. By the way, this is Your Minerals Sweden, and it's the translucent powder just to set all the makeup we've already done. So anyway, we ended up, in between classes, he's like, just meet me by this certain door. And so I go over there, and I go over there and I'm like, I saw him and then I recognized him, like, oh, it's that guy I met that was like super confident and cute, you know? And he goes, I'm Chad. I'm like, oh, it's so great to meet you. Okay, now I remember you now. Anyway, I have to go real quick. I gotta go get some food because my roommate was like, come on, we gotta go. So I left, and I wanted to talk longer, and I felt bad that we had to leave. But the timing of it could not be worse, because when I left, he was thinking, I'm Chad. Of all things I could say, I'm Chad. So it actually is a funny story we talk about now. Like, I go up to him like, I'm Ashna, and he goes, I'm Chad. So anyway, it's a big nerdy joke that we have. Oh, I'm using E.L.F. primer. I know there are some other options out there, but Mama's on a budget, okay? So anyway, I'm gonna put some of that on there, and then I'll, as it's kind of set there, I'll do my eyebrows. So after that meeting, I emailed him because I felt bad. I was like, I'm so sorry that we left so quickly, and he, turns out he was pretty embarrassed about it. He thought I was just like, oh, cool, you're Chad, see ya. He ended up going, and so I emailed him. I didn't want him to feel bad because I did want to get to know him. Oh, and I'm using the E.L.F. eyebrow kit, and this is in light. So I emailed him to kind of tell him, hey, I'm so sorry. My roommate and I were so starving, and we ended up coming back. He's like, who am I to get in between you and your food, right? A woman and her food. And he was just trying to be funny. We were communicating through email, and so that's kind of how our friendship started. He was still embarrassed, so we never really hung out. And then there's this one guy I actually ended up started hanging out with, getting to know, and I wasn't into him. And so Chad and his brother were sitting like near us, and I recognized Chad. I'm like, hey, because every time I saw him, I like tried to wave, and because I didn't want, he felt so embarrassed, and I didn't want him to, from that one encounter, you know. And his older brother was there, and so at that time, from his perspective, he was thinking, well, you know, I think she's older, you know, she's more mature than I am. I'm just a doofus, whatever. Not a doofus. Who says doofus besides DuckTales? He ends up trying to set me up with his brother. Yes, he tried to set me up with his brother. And so, and his brother was really cool, and I was like, and I don't know, I didn't know what to think. I was like, honestly, I wanted to get out of the situation I was in before. His brother took me on a date. He invited me to go with his family to San Antonio. And I was like, who are these people? Should I be going? I mean, it's not serious, you know? And I thought, what the heck? They seem pretty casual about it. Let's just hang out. And so I ended up going, and Chad was there the whole time. Even though he was trying to set me up with his brother, and like I was getting to know him, like it was like me and Chad, our friendship was like already super strong. It was crazy. Like we were hanging out and like buddies, and like it was weird because I wasn't ever like that before in different relationships. If they had like siblings or whatever, like I'd get along with people, but not like we were. Like he would just have his arm around me, like we were just best buds, like forever. And it was odd, and I knew it was weird, but it was so comfortable. Even though he was setting me up with his brother at the time, like I said, I found myself talking to him the most, and like we laughed about a lot of the same things. I was clueless because I thought, oh, he's such a good friend. Yeah, we're just like buddies, you know? Weird, right? I don't know what was wrong with me, but so things kind of fizzled with his brother. Oh, and this is also from, I love Boxycharm, if you haven't noticed. This is the eyebrow defining gel. It's called Cella. I don't know if I'm even saying it right. Okay, before I continue on with my story, I'm gonna do a little bit of, well, kind of contouring, but just a little bronzer and a highlight and blush, just to give myself a little color. So a lot of these are E.L.F. products. For bronzer, I'm gonna use this E.L.F. bronzer. It's called Los Cabos. It's broken. This is relatively new, but it broke in the mail. But it works out. I mean, it's not completely, it's still together. And then I have a Moonlight, to use as a highlight. These are both baked powders. And then this is an off-brand, but it's called Sweet Retreat, I believe. And it's a really just pinky color that I'm going to be using. Let's fast forward a little bit. Things don't work out with his brother. Saddest part of the whole thing was I thought, oh, my group of friends, I love those guys. You know, I loved hanging out with them, and I just was kind of sad that I didn't have them, and I was at my apartment, and you know, like, ugh. Not that I was sad that I wasn't dating him, his brother. I was sad that I lost my friends. Thought they're not gonna hang out with me. I get a knock on the door, and it's Chad and his best friend Kevin, and I'm like, oh, my friends! And so it made me so happy because I still had my buds, and I still got to hang out with them because they were my people. You know what I'm saying? They were my people. For months and months, we hung out, and people thought they were, you know, people would come up to us, mutual friends, would be like, okay, are y'all dating? And we're like, no, it's not like that, you know. He's a girl that he's kind of interested in on a mission, and I kind of hung out with his brother. That's just weird. We don't, you know, it's not like that. And so we really were so blind to the whole thing. And anyway, this is gold E.L.F, kind of a yellowish, good setting powder for under eyes. I'm gonna put that there too to kind of double set it. Then there was just one point in our relationship where it started to, like, the relationship and the friendship started to get really, really close. But we were still blind to it completely, and people just thought we were just silly. And like, how can you not realize that y'all obviously are, and we joked, we would say, how awesome would it be? We're such good friends. How awesome would it be if we like just got married? And I was like, I know, right? That would be awesome. And we had those conversations, and still we're completely like oblivious to what we were saying. We're gonna do my eyes with the obviously used Naked palette. I love this. I usually start with Sin and Naked, kind of mix those as like the base color, and then I use a little Sidecar and Buck. It's a matte and shimmery shade for the crease, and then I use Virgin for my brow bone and the inner corners of my eye. Get ready for some interruptions. My daughter's in here using stamps and coloring. Say hi, Layla.
Hi.
Okay. Anyway, we really didn't understand what everyone was seeing. Well, there's one evening where we were hanging out. His mom was in the room, and his brother, and his younger brother, Kyle, and he goes, we were even talking to him. We're like, people always say they think we're dating, and his brother goes, it's because you are. We're like, what? No, we're not dating. It's not like that. And he goes, whatever, man, you're dumb. It kind of got us like, wait, are we? He goes, you know, if you really showed any seriousness, we joke about being married and dating and how awesome it would be, but this was like the turning point. Because he was writing this girl that was on a mission for his church. I mean, it was kind of like open-ended, whatever, like she was going to be gone for so long, they didn't know it was going to work out. And he goes, if there was any seriousness to what we joke about, I would write her and end it officially, like completely, like right now. And I was like, you're lying. And then right then he goes, Mom, how do I let her know that I'm being serious? And she goes, be nice to her. He goes, I am nice to her. So at that moment, it was clear to me that he had the same feelings for me that I had for him. And it was more than just our awesome friendship that had been building for about a year. And so that night, as we were watching movies, because we watch movies all the time together, and that night we kissed our first time. It was a very, very special moment, our first kiss, and sometimes even when I still kiss him, I imagine that first time, and I still get butterflies. It's a really neat story. I just love how our story ended up, and a few months later, like we were friends for so long, it was like there was no surprises, because our whole relationship was we weren't ever really trying to impress each other. So that moment we crossed the friendship line and had a relationship there. The communication was wonderful, and our friendship was so strong, and it was like we desired to be around each other because we were best friends. I mean, people always say, I married my best friend and he's so awesome, but most of the time it doesn't really start that way. So we were very, very lucky, and we were older. I mean, we got married when we were 26. I mean, that's not really that old, but to some people it was. Like, some people get married really, really young. Don't worry, I'm gonna blend my eye. And the rest is history, and here we are. We have 3 beautiful little girls, and we are super, super happy. And it's like, I knew that we were gonna be happy when we got married, but I did not realize like how wonderful it was gonna be. How that whole process was like the foundation to our marriage. And after 8 years, I'd say it's even better than the beginning. In that first moment, as important as that was, it's just, we're stronger. You know? We're gonna go on a little date. I'm gonna do toasted and hustle. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just making the whole alphabet.
Oh, that's a good idea. So right now I'm adding a little toasted, kind of in the corners, patting it in. Now, because I'm not a whippersnapper teenager, when I do eyeshadow, it's a little different for me because I'd have a couple of wrinkles, but it doesn't mean that I can't try to be pretty with makeup. I'm gonna add a little
Can't find G, Mama.
hustle mixed with toasted.
Mama.
Here, bring it over here and put it a little under my eyes. I just did an unboxing video, and this is the Lord & Berry. I have another pencil lighter from Urban Decay, but since this is new and it's a new year, I'm going to use this. Kind of a mix of the gray and black, creep and gunmetal. Those two on the negative. I'm gonna go with some lashes today. It's called Bring the Salon Home Kiss. I've never used this brand before. There are no eyelashes in there, so I don't know why I'm doing this, but they're actually very natural looking, and they taper off at the end, and that's one thing I look for. I don't like it to be just so drastic and then just chopped off. I went ahead and put my eyelashes on. It was pretty much out of the shot anyway. So usually when I finish my lashes, I like to kind of coat, just to kind of fuse my regular lashes and the false lashes together, and I just so people think, ooh, where'd you get your eyelashes did? And I said, my house. And then, because they're so dramatic, I feel like I can put a little bit on my bottom lashes without it being... Anyway, so my lashes are done. Well, oh, then I usually like to clean up maybe some places that... This is True Match. It's not my absolute favorite concealer or highlighter. I love the Age Rewind, but this has a good color to it, and it kind of brightens up, and it covers blemishes and mistakes that you might make. I'm just going to use my finger because it's so close to the eye. And then I'll use my beauty blender to kind of take away the excess product. I'm loving these lashes. I mean, they're dramatic enough for like a date night, but not to where like, all right, you going to prom? Now for lipstick. It's a liquid, it's kind of a stain. It's $5.90. I really don't know what brand it is. I got this a long time ago, but it's such a beautiful, it's kind of a mauve shade. You let it sit And then it's just, you can kiss it off, it stays on, which is perfect for anniversaries. Or dates, if you like the guy. Or if you're with best friend and you end up liking the guy. Right now it's kind of sticky, so I like to let it set, but it's a color that kind of goes with any outfit. And then I have this E.L.F. These are this is called Nearly Nude. It's the matte lip color. So this is a matte color, and I'm going to use this to kind of give it a little more dimension to my lips.
You like them?
Hi, baby.
Hi.
You see me doing my makeup for my anniversary?
Yeah.
This is called Baby Lips. I love this. I use this as a chapstick because it's a sheer, and it just makes everything kind of smooth. Pretty good. A little more makeup than I'm used to wearing during the day because usually I'm just out and about picking up kids and taking them to school and going to the grocery store, so I usually don't break out the false lashes for anybody. So anyway, subscribe if you want to see more, and also say thumbs up if you like what you see. Thumbs up, lots of thumbs up, lots of thumbs up. Okay. All right, see ya.
You look pretty, Mama.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You look prettier than all the moms in the world.
Thank you. You're beautiful too. But you don't even need makeup.
Nope.